So we can either have disloving programs or loving programs, right? So when I thought about some of the more common unloving programs that I hear or I have identified with myself, there's often a few that I see most people talking about. And one of the biggest ones is suffering, okay? There seems to be this general pattern and this loving type of belief system in the human conditioning about suffering, that we must somehow suffer in order to have what we desire, in order to be loved, right? So a lot of times people will say, you know, I'm working, I have to work this hard, but I don't see my kids. I'm not spending time with my family. I don't get to the gym. And I'm saying, okay, well, what's the underlying disloving program there? And there's this belief system that somehow I have to either neglect myself in order to be there for others, because that's how they're going to feel loved and how I will feel loved. But the reality is it's not a true belief. It's not a true program. And it's something that we definitely all need to look at. Another big one is life is not safe. And a really great mirror of this belief system in the human world and on this earth planet is the news, okay? So the news is a perfect reflection of that consistent belief system that somehow we're not safe. And again, it's not true. And I know certainly for myself, that's one conditioning I want to be present to constantly change in my life so that I'm not manifesting those fear-based patterns. Another big one is distracting ourselves with helping everyone else so that we don't have to look within. Okay, so as a medical doctor, as a healer, this is one that I've really had to look at and, you know, be clear with where are my lines. So, you know, if you notice that you have a tendency to focus on others and to really, you know, spend your time helping them, and you're noticing in your own life that you're not feeling well, maybe feeling more depleted and tired, this might be a pattern that you want to take a look at. Another big one is punishment, that somehow we need to be punished either for the things we do or don't do. And again, we go back to that foundational message from the creative force. There's no punishment. This is an all-loving, this universe, God is for us. This world has been created for us, not against us. So the notion of shame, guilt, punishment, out the door. And the more you hear this webinar tonight and you share this with other people, please remind yourself those programs, cancel, no more, out. Generational patterns, right? The ones that get passed down in your family and in my family. So take a minute and just think about if you could pick one thing that you have noticed gets passed down in your family, grandparents, your parents, yourself, maybe your own children. If you can identify just one pattern right now that you notice, that you are aware of. So for me, that pattern was the conditioning of lack of, that somehow there isn't enough, that we had to work really hard to have, and that the other piece of that is that sometimes we weren't good enough to have, like everyone else could, but just not us. And I will tell you that I'm definitely breaking that pattern with my generation and with my generations to come, because there's more than enough and we all deserve that, okay? We're all here to have, to help ourselves, to help one another. So look at what one possible generational pattern in your family is, because this is where a lot of your healing from manifesting your best state every day can come from, and this can really help you. So Cancer, right? So Cancer is one of the bigger, I guess, physical manifestations of some of those unloving programs. So I share this with my patients as well as anyone that comes into my circle, okay? We can do external things like, of course, change our diet, you know, look at the different types of supplements we can take, detox our bodies to change what's happening with cancer and other disease processes in our body. But at the end of it all, we can remove those things. But if the beliefs are not removed, what are we really changing, right? So cancer, like other diseases, it's just a storage of emotions and emotional issues in the tissues. It represents some type of conflict or contaminated belief, right? So we can remove the cancer, we need to remove the belief. So health is a habit, sickness is also a habit. And fear-based thoughts or unhealthy, unloving programs decrease the immune system and lead to the human body becoming more ill. Self-loving programs release a totally different set of neurotransmitters and experiences. Things like serotonin, GABA, oxytocin, right? They make our bodies feel good. They make us feel warm and fuzzy. Even as I'm talking about this, I can notice the change in my body just saying these words. So the ultimate highest vibration that exists here on this planet in our third dimensional space is self-love. Self-love is the absolute highest vibration. One of the common conditioning programs that we have been taught is that if we're taking care of ourselves, it's selfish. And the truth is that we are here for the opposite. We are here for one purpose, and that purpose is to love ourselves. By loving ourselves, we ultimately immediately learn how to love others and to be the best for them. So God made things like the food from the earth, the air that we breathe, the sunshine that shines on us, and all of the innate healing mechanisms that we have in our body. We want to embrace those things, right? Those will enhance our self-love programs. Love is more important than oxygen. It's the most important feeling, food that we need. And the reality is we really do not need the love of others. So again, it doesn't mean that it's not nice to have it and that we are not here on this planet to connect with others. I'm not saying that. What I am saying though is the need that we have placed on the love of others is part of the unloving programs. And so being here, it's all about self-love, the absolute highest vibration, and putting self first. So if I'm saying this and you're noticing it's kind of uncomfortable for you and you're saying, I don't know about that, I am going to just say to you, maybe stretch into this a little bit more as we move forward in this talk and consider the possibility of what might be getting in the way. Is there an unloving program that's really ultimately getting in the way of how you feel when I say those words?